People don't hire Reg and Kala as their wedding photographer because we're the best photographers.
Right.
I'm not the best photographer on our team, much less the best photographer in the country.
I'm glad you recognize that you're not the best photographer on this
I'm
team.
much better than you, though.
You are not!
100%. Every one of my shots.
No, you're not. Just in case y'all don't know, this is a competition situation. But anyway.
But I'm the best.
But he's not.
Anyway.
We're your hosts, Reg and Kala, photographers, educators, and parents who believe you don't have to follow the rules to create a thriving business and a life that you love. Here's the truth. You have the freedom to create a business that fuels your life, not one that drains it. To break away from the traditional grind, step fully into your purpose, and build something that gives you freedom in your work, your home, and your family.
Whether you're just stepping into your calling, scaling your business, or juggling parenthood, we get it. Maybe you're just trying to figure out how to make your dream work. Either way, you're in the right place. We're here to give you the real, unfiltered conversations about building a creative business, balancing life and work, and the hard-learned lessons we wish we knew sooner. We're not just here to talk, we're here to equip, encourage, challenge, and guide the next generation of creative entrepreneurs who are ready for the freedom to create something meaningful. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Freedom to Create podcast. Today we're talking about mindset.
The mindset shift that changed everything for us.
Yeah, that wasn't a fun time.
Nope, but I think that a lot of creatives need to hear it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Where do you want to start at? Actually, what are you drinking?
It's a Southern Belle with vanilla cold foam.
Anyone that's not listening from the South just went, ew.
It's amazing. It's like caramel and white chocolate. No, it's not. It's caramel and vanilla. Oh, is it white chocolate? I can't remember now. It's either white chocolate or vanilla.
See, this is a
caramel.
problem when your coffee order is a paragraph. You can't even remember what it was.
Yours was longer than mine. It's like
Yeah, but-
hazelnut and vanilla and caramel.
Yeah, but normally it's hot Americano. Easy.
No one likes black coffee.
Yes, they do.
Not really. Not
I
anyone here.
literally had a pot of black coffee this morning.
Well, no one else here did.
I'm sure someone did.
If you did, please let us know because
Black coffee
no one
or
does.
flavored coffee? Let us know in a poll that we're going to put on Instagram.
Definitely all
about
flavored
this.
coffee.
All right, cool. So mindset shift.
Ooh, that
Mindset
could
shift.
be a bad word. Is that a word?
No, I didn't. I can bleep that out. That'd be hilarious.
I mind shifted my pants.
I shipped my pants.
Shifted my pants.
Anyway,
Kmart.
okay.
Anybody remember Kmart? Probably not. Oh, I shouldn't say that because you said don't tell everybody how old we are.
I mean, you're pretty old, but
I'll be 30 this year.
no. Your back hurts, don't it?
Yep, always. No, it don't. No, it don't. No, it don't. I got the chiropractor.
Brittany was watching this and she's like, it better not.
Thanks, Britt. Thanks for all you do for me. Okay, so what is something that you feel like a lot of creatives are held back by in their mindset, especially like not even just starting out in photography, but like when you're in just photography business in general? Like what is one thing that you're seeing a lot right now with our coaching students that you're having to like kind of reset, I guess?
Imposter syndrome all the way.
Yeah.
That's almost always the problem that everybody has. They compare themselves to everybody. They compare themselves to what they see everybody show.
Yeah.
So they think that they're not enough whenever they're doing that.
What is imposter syndrome?
What do I define imposter syndrome as?
What do you define it as? Yeah.
I define imposter syndrome as you judging yourself based on what you know. Like you're afraid everybody else is judging you based on how you're judging yourself.
Yeah.
And other people can't judge you that way because they're not with you all the time.
Right.
Everybody else just judges you off of what they see, and they see whatever you're posting or whatever you're doing, or if they see you actually working, they judge you off of that. They don't judge you by like how much your business did because they don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Because quantity of sessions doesn't mean quality of sessions, and it also doesn't mean income.
Profit. Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge, like just because someone's shooting a lot, there's a photographer 25 minutes from us that has like 500 Google reviews. And you would think, oh my God, this woman is shooting so much. She does shoot a whole lot. You're like, oh my God, she's making so much money. She's not.
Really?
She's not making hardly any money. She's significantly underpriced. But if she changed her price, her fear is if I move up in pricing, then
lose all my
I'm going to
clients.
lose my clients.
Yep.
Yeah. So she thinks she's not going to make any money. When in reality, what would happen is, yes, she's going to lose those bottom budget clients, but she's going to at least be able to move up and do half the sessions and make the same amount of money, work half as much and still make money, the same amount of money. That's what we did.
Yep. And gosh, I would take moving my prices up and shooting half the amount of time over the latter.
And we also, like, what was crazy about that was we were only like $400 or $500 difference in total income.
Yeah.
And we literally shot half as many weekends.
Yeah, that's when we're like, oh my gosh, our capacity, we cannot keep this up.
But everybody thinks that, and they compare themselves to other people of like, my work's not good enough, so my pricing can't be where it needs to be, or, you know, I struggle with posing, so maybe my client experience isn't what I need, and I need to use an app, or I need to have pictures on my phone, or if I look at my phone, everybody thinks I don't know what I'm doing, and none of that's true.
It's not. And I mean, if we're going to be serious, like, if we're just going to like be real here, whenever we hire someone into the collective, like, even not having a camera, not having experience, we do not set their prices below a certain number because it's just not worth their time. Like, even not having the experience, they're about to learn how to do it, and they're about to learn how to do it well. Yeah. And like, we already know that we're going to set them at a certain price point so they don't have to like start at $50 an hour or whatever. And you know what I mean? Because
I was talking to a coaching client, and her name's Casey. And Casey has 6 kids, and she shot a wedding for like $300. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I was like, your kids are worth more than the $8 an hour or $4 an hour.
Was she there for 8 hours?
I don't know how long she was there for.
Even still, I mean, that's way more.
I mean, if you were there for 4 hours, but no, I think it was like a full day. Maybe it was 6 or 8, who knows. But just say she had 3 hours of backside work for every hour she shot. She's got 18 hours of shooting time. She's legitimately making not even $10 an hour. And to be gone from her kids from that amount of time, like, her kids are worth more than that. And then she went and she booked her next wedding, and she literally said after they paid she wanted to throw up because she couldn't believe someone paid her that amount of money. But what it was is she realized someone valued her that much. Yeah. She couldn't believe that someone valued what she could create that much. Yeah. And like what we do, the reason we're the price that we are, or the reason someone else is even more expensive than what we are, and it's not even expense, it's that they charge their rate, is because of the value that they bring whenever they're there. Right. People don't hire Reg and Kala as their wedding photographer because we're the best photographers. Right. I'm not the best photographer on our team, much less the best photographer in the country.
I'm glad you recognize that. You're not the best photographer on this
I'm
team.
Much better than you, though.
You are not!
100%. Every one of my shots.
No, you're not. Just in case y'all don't know, this is a competition situation. But anyway.
But I'm the best.
But he's not.
Anyway, people don't book us because of that. They book us because of the experience in working with us. They book us because they like how we are. They want to hang out with us. They book us because
we're a husband and wife team.
That they also book because we've done this enough that if something starts to go wrong, Reg and Kala know how to fix it.
Yeah, we can get it back on the rails.
I can't tell you how many times hair and makeup's been behind, or I don't know, just some problem has happened on the day. Sometimes it's hair and makeup or whatever.
Somebody say hair and makeup. Somebody doesn't show up in the groom's party.
Yeah, or they're late, or we had one wedding where they didn't have their ties. The guys didn't have, or like the groom didn't have his ties, something like that.
The groom, that his groomsmen got a kid size shoe instead of an adult size shoe, so they had little kid shoes.
The man's hands was bigger than his shoes.
He had little kid shoes in his little groomsmen
And also, this man was huge. Oh yeah, he wasn't even my size.
Like NFL player wearing these.
He was like
tiny
6'5", 300 pounds, and they gave him like a size 7 kid shoe.
Toddler shoes.
Yes.
So he wore them on his hands all day. No, I'm just kidding. We had to go get that man some shoes.
But being able to fix that, I don't know how many problems we fixed before our bride never even knows.
Oh my God, no. We do not bother our bride with that kind of stuff.
And we know more about what happens at our brides and our groom's wedding days than what they do. I mean, even like Shandy. Like, Shandy didn't know that her husband showed up to their wedding like 30 minutes before the ceremony. And she asked him later.
Dustin, we just outed you, my man.
Shandy already knows.
Oh, okay.
Because she asked me something
Dustin,
about.
you in trouble then.
Dustin, he's already done. He's already went through this.
You just got him in trouble.
No, but legit. But anyway, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest problems is imposter syndrome, and people look at themselves as, not valuable enough, and like what you're creating is valuable enough for someone else.
Oh, and you know why? Because we love it so much that any type of criticism or any type of seeing somebody else do something better, it's like a personal attack on your identity, because like that's who we are. we're that creative, we're that photographer. And so you feel that internally instead of like, you know what I mean? Like you take it very, very personally if somebody else is doing something better than you, or you're like, oh, I'm not good enough because I'm not booking 50 mini sessions like this other photographer did.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, like they're seeing the pretty glamorous side of social media, not the like in the weeds part of someone else's business.
Yeah, they're also not seeing none of those people come. And I'm not saying that's everybody, because some people, I know of one person in particular, they run a ton of minis for graduates, and they do phenomenal.
Yeah.
But like, I know one photographer that does a lot of minis, and they don't have any return. And it's, just so you know, it's cheaper to keep a client than it is to get a new one. But whenever they have high turnover like that, like having to go and constantly find new people because the experience that they're getting is just crap.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
have a good experience.
Like we have one family that I swear they come to every mini session that we have.
They do.
And we have a couple that come like every year for the same ones. Like they always come to Christmas, or they always come to spring or something like that. But like
this family, as soon as the email's out, they're like, "Ooh, sign me up!" Like every single time,
and they always look amazing.
Yeah, every time. They have never showed up.
Black suit, red tie, like everybody matches perfectly.
Literally the most perfect outfits ever. It's the mama. The mama do it.
Yeah, she's
incredible.
You don't think it's him?
I mean, I guess it could be him. I could see him styling. Yeah, it could be him.
Of course, last time they based their entire outfit off of their kid's jacket, which was hilarious.
That was funny.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest issues people run into.
Yeah.
Is comparing themselves.
Yep. So what would you give as like a tangible piece of advice for them if they're feeling imposter syndrome, if some of that is holding them back right now? What would you say?
Yeah, so like if someone's scrolling and they see somebody else and they automatically start comparing themselves.
Yeah. Even though they're doing the work. They're like, they've already started their spring stuff. They're booking weddings. They're like, or even if they're not booking weddings and they're just like, oh, why am I not booking weddings?
I think what I would tell them is, as soon as you feel that come up, like soon you're scrolling and you see Jessica, and Jessica just posted all this, or she just posted that she's at this wedding venue. I know, isn't Jessica the worst?
The worst.
But
we have imposter syndrome.
I don't even know who Jessica is. I just literally
She's
said
a photographer
Jessica.
that's doing good. We hate her. No, I'm just kidding.
What about Tiffany? Tiffany just sounds like
no, I do have a Tiffany that I love.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Tiffany's definitely listening to this podcast, and I love her. Anyways.
But like you see whoever, and automatically you're like, oh my God, why is she getting to shoot there? Why don't I get clients there?
Oh my gosh, yes, this is a huge point. Are you about to say what I think you're going to say?
I don't know. Can I say what I was going to say and then you... Or
say
you want to forget?
If you don't say it.
Then,
no, I won't forget. I won't forget. I got this.
You're 100% going to forget.
I probably will.
But you feel that certain way. You see it and you're like, oh, I wish this was me. Why not? Why can't I get them? Does she get to shoot there? And then all of a sudden, like, you feel that, and then you start to scroll, and you have that like welled up inside of you, but you have already, like, as you're scrolling, you forgot you've even thought it. As soon as you have that thought, ask yourself, is the story I'm telling myself true?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Is Jessica that much better than me?
Can I tell you that I still do this? I still have to say, is this true? For me to not feel a certain way. But I do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, if you're going to do something from this week to next week, that's what to do.
Yeah.
Every time you feel that way, is the story I'm telling myself true?
Yeah.
Am I not booking clients because Jessica's booking clients?
Are you not booking clients?
Of course not.
Because of a different reason? Could it be anything else? And there is probably truth to that, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
Tough love, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you also, like, probably it's not Jessica's fault that you're not getting paid.
It's definitely not Jessica's fault.
And if you see whoever, whenever you're like out shooting and you're like, oh, why does...
she has an 85 millimeter. If I just had an 85 millimeter, I would be doing this. And it's not true. You'd get the 85 millimeter and you would still be in this
she's posting.
situation.
I'm going to go make the same exact reels. I'm going to jump on these trends. I'm going to do this, that, or the other.
It's despair.
It's not those things. The other photographers are not your problem.
That's so true. And if you go somewhere and you see other photographers and you automatically like are just like, you know what I mean? Because that's a problem. But that is a good sign that you have something going on that you need to probably focus and work on in your business and probably in your little heart too. But that's a whole nother thing.
Nobody thought they were going to get this whenever they turned in.
What? Is it bad?
No, it ain't bad. It just, like, if you're not getting what you want, it's because you're not giving. Money follows value. And if you're not giving enough value, the money's not going to follow.
That's true. Yep.
So you have to give something of value for people to come to it. And then here's the craziest thing about that. You can create the best value product, and if you don't tell anybody about it, they can't buy it.
That's so true. Yeah.
So if you don't tell anybody what you're doing,
Yeah. And
if you don't market yourself, if you don't show yourself, if you don't show your face, if you don't, if nobody knows what they're getting, and also this is another thing, no one's buying your pictures.
No, they're not. I mean, that's a
No
small
one
part
gives
of
a
it.
crap about how pretty your pictures are because everyone takes pretty pictures.
Yeah, there's a flood of photographers with pretty pictures. And I don't want to hear a person say the saturated market is why I'm not doing well. Because if I hear that one more time, it's not saturated. It is saturated with mediocrity.
Yeah.
And you are not mediocre, whoever's listening. You're not mediocre. You're better than that. We're not doing the bare minimum anymore. I just got loud, sorry.
No, I mean, it's fine.
I mean, really, if you want to stand out, if you want to do this, if you want to build this business, you got to do something more than what everybody else is doing.
Right, but I also think that people think they can do the bare minimum because whenever you start photography, that's a good point that you made, that we're not doing the bare minimum. When you start your business, you have given up the ability to be mediocre.
Yes,
you no
you
longer
have.
get to do that because you could be mediocre at your day job. You can go in, do the bare minimum, get paid as much as you can.
guaranteed a
You know
salary.
it's going to come in, and then you go home. You don't get to do that when you're here. You don't get to do that when you're running your business.
Exactly. It's more important than that, though, because what you do, your actions are going to reflect what you get paid. I do believe that.
Well, yeah.
So if you want to get paid, you got to do more work than what most people are doing. A lot of people aren't getting inquiries. A lot of people aren't getting bookings. Why? Probably because they're not doing the work. Probably not because they're not hustling at the beginning.
They're not telling anybody about
Because
themselves.
if we're going to be honest, and I know that I literally said on the previous episode, you don't want to take 1 million things a year, but I will say, caveat to that, whenever you first start, you do have to do quite a bit more to get yourself out there, to build your portfolio, to make sure that what you are photographing is what you want to photograph more of later.
Do it for free.
Do it for free. But
you don't do
make
it for free
strategic.
forever.
Make it strategic.
Yes, it's not forever. It's for
not
now.
forever, yes. And just prepare yourself for that. Model calls, but do model calls, but have a strategy. But make sure that it's what you...
Yeah, it's not the photographers that take the prettiest pictures that make the most money. It's the photographers that have the best strategy that make the most money.
Yes.
So have a strategy with whatever you're doing. If you're having a model call, have a strategy with that. If you're doing a style shoot, have a strategy with that.
Yes.
If you're going to do social media, have a strategy for it.
Because we did
Don't
make
just
that
do it
mistake.
to do it.
Yes, we did make that mistake because I remember early on we were yes, anybody who will get in front of our camera. And even though that there is something to that, to expedite this process for y'all, this storytelling right here, I remember doing a particular model call and the family showed up in jeans and neon t-shirts from AC Moore. I mean, we needed a family session in our portfolio, but not exactly what we wanted to shoot more of. So that was something
the reason,
that we
if you've never
later.
shot neon shirts before, is because it color cast up under their chin.
Everything.
So
baby,
if it's a
everything.
pink shirt, they have a pink, basically neck beard.
So we
or
had a pink-
lime green neck beard.
We had
right?
different colors.
Yeah.
Neck beards, which was great. But yeah, just being strategic about it. And we tell our team all the time, hey, this is the framework for how to have a successful model call. Do this so that you don't have to keep doing stuff for free.
Yeah.
You can knock out 2, 3 free model calls that look really, really good. And then from there, you start getting paid bookings.
Yeah.
Because that's
Even
what
if
we
it's
want.
6, make a number and stick with it.
Yeah.
Whatever your number is, who cares? Don't do it for 6 months.
Yeah.
Do it for 6 sessions.
Yep.
And don't take your 6 sessions and take them over the course of 6 months. Do 6 sessions in 2 weeks.
Yes. It's not over till it's over.
You asked at the beginning of what created our mind shift change. Why can't I say mind shift?
Mindset shift?
Mindset shift.
See, I just said it way better than you. I should have said it earlier.
Yeah, but our story with that is whenever what the biggest thing that changed my mind was when I realized I was at my day job and I wasn't a little fish in this pond. we'd moved to Raleigh for this job that I had. I'd been there for, 4 years, something?
Yeah.
Maybe longer, I can't remember now.
5.
And 8 days after our first son was born, man, I really am struggling to talk, apparently.
Okay? Have you had a stroke?
I might have.
Oh my God.
Is the side of my face sagging?
Yes.
8 days after
Both sides. I'm just kidding. You called me old earlier. That's free. That one's for free.
Anyway, 8 days after our first son was born, I had to go have a meeting with the vice president, and we're sitting there, and he's basically like, hey, if you don't move, you don't have a job. And I was like, I'd done everything right.
You did everything they asked.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I quit my job, which I loved.
My parents moved from the house they had been in for 20 some years.
They swore they would never move.
Yeah,
And they moved.
they moved to Raleigh, and I'm sitting there having this conversation, shocked that I'm having this conversation. I did what I was supposed to do, and the shift that happened for me then was, even though I had a check that came in every 2 weeks, I knew what it was going to be down to the dollar because I was on a salary.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in control of that money.
Yep. Your
Now,
car, the company car.
yeah,
all
my
of
company
that.
car, the phone, all of that went away in one 25-minute conversation.
And the severance package was a joke. If we're going to be honest.
It was massive. It was a whole one paycheck.
Yeah. Absolute joke. And we had literally just moved to Raleigh. We were selling our house because we were moving to Benson.
Yeah.
Because the house we bought in Raleigh wasn't super safe.
Yeah, and then that house,
we had
because
no knowledge about Raleigh, mind you. Whenever we bought this house, y'all, so there's that.
Hurricane Florence came through, and a bunch of water settled under the house, and then those floors buckled in the middle of trying to sell it. So a bunch of crap happened all at one time, and realizing that I wasn't in control of my money, even if I did everything right.
Yeah.
So why not me be in control of my money? And if I do everything right, then if it doesn't happen, it's because of me. If it does happen, it's because of me. It's not someone else. And I can't remember who told me this, but they told me whoever creates the safety net for you also creates the ceiling. And that's exactly what happened while I was at that company. I had a great safety net. I knew what I was going to make every single month. I don't know that now. I have no clue what I'm going to make every single month now. I have an idea. I can look at the past, 6-7 years and be like, hey, this is probably what we're going to make, somewhere between these numbers and this, and kind of know what the average is. But I don't know what I'm going to make. But I also don't have a ceiling. No one can say, hey, this is how much you can make.
Yeah.
That was the shift that changed me from being an employee to being a business owner. And since that job, I've never had a job that I've got paid an hourly wage for.
Yeah. And then folks that might be in the middle of that transition, they really are all in with photography and they still have to keep their day job, what would you tell them? You know what I mean? In that transition period?
So,
because there is a small period of time where you do have to do both.
What I would tell them is, if you have to do this for a year before you can make the transition, then work as hard as you can and grind for that year. Mm-hmm. Instead of, and go 100%, and it's going to suck, and you're going to lose time with your family, or you're going to lose time with your spouse, or you're going to miss something, or what have you. But for a year, miss it.
Commit to missing it.
That way, you never have to miss it again.
Yeah.
Because then after that year, now you're in control of your schedule. Yep. If it's going to take you 2 years, do it for the 2 years. But don't just stretch it out to where it's going to be a 4 or 8 year thing, and you're just going to be, I just kind of have a photography job. I take pictures, and they just kind of sit there. If it's going to take you a year, and if you did everything you knew you were supposed to do for 1 year, where would your business be?
Right.
Just do it for that year.
Yeah. If you can just commit for the year. Because
is it going to suck? Yes.
Yeah.
Are you going to grind? Are you going to do more than what you should and get paid less than what you should? Yes.
But prepare the ones that are around you too. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, I can't imagine. You know what I mean? If we didn't have kids, how much we could get done? How much we could get done without kids? Not that I'm saying I love our kids. I would never have it any other way.
No, but kids are just another level
But
of
if you don't have kids yet, do it before the kids. That is one thing I do, looking back, I wish we kind of would have established a little bit more before Elliot got here, but it is what it is. But yeah, if you have that luxury of getting this done prior to kids, set yourself up. Yeah. Set yourself up, because you can do that now. Yeah. And then if you do have kids, like rally the people that help you. Get your, you know, if your mom or your in-laws or whatever watch your kids for you, or if you have a sitter, or if you have like, you know, family that they could hang out with while you try to like do this business thing and you go to shoots, or your husband, you know, if you're leaving them with your husband or whatever, like just like sit down and have that conversation of, hey, this is what it's going to look like for the next year. Are you with me? Because then the expectation is there. It's easier for everyone to support you. And I'm really thankful that we have that support with us. But
and then if they say okay and that they're good for the next year, then for that year you have to go.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be fun, and there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to want to quit. But the thing is the only way you lose when you're in business for yourself is when you quit.
Yep.
And change your mindset from I got to go do these things to I get to go do these things.
That's exactly what I was going to say earlier.
I mean, really, that's it. Like, I don't have to go shoot a wedding. I get to go shoot a wedding.
Yeah, we get to do this.
I don't have to go to work. I get to go to work.
Yeah.
Because now I don't, you know.
I felt differently about it before, because like before we had to go to work. You know, people expected us to be at work, you know, at our day job, like at our 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like you had to be there. This is different.
Yeah.
This, we do it because we do it for us.
You know what's also amazing is people will go and work 40 hours a week for someone else and build someone else's dream, but they won't work 20 hours a week for their own.
Yeah. And like people who work for these big companies, have you ever met who you work for? Do they care about you?
Met who you work for. What about whenever someone drops dead literally at your job and 2 weeks later there's someone there?
Yeah.
I've watched it happen.
Ouch. Yeah. That's the reality of it though. Like you're just a warm body in some places. I mean, not saying that.
Not all.
Yeah, not all. There are places that care about their employees. I'm not saying that. But like,
but you could definitely be in at a very large company where it just.
Yeah. Whenever you're not there to do your job, someone else is coming right in behind you.
Yeah.
Now with us, you know, and it's different with photography too, because like you are your business.
Yeah.
So like if you croaked, then like I couldn't be like, hey, Brandon, you're Reg. Now we're Reg and Kala photography again. You know, like it's different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's important. I think that's important to know. Like, just do it now. Go through the suck now. That way you don't have to go through the suck later.
Yep. Then let's switch gears and talk about burnout. So like the opposite of, would you say it was the opposite of imposter syndrome? I guess it would just be a different season, right? So like if there's
I think everybody goes through imposter syndrome and through burnout at some point.
Yeah. So let's talk about burnout then. And then when we hit burnout and kind of what that looked like, and then I guess that journey with us.
Okay. So burnout is whenever you are just so tired of doing it that you don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. Where you've lost the joy in what you were doing, even if what you do at one point really brought you joy, right? Mm-hmm. I think everybody hits it, like 100%. I think everybody hits it at some point. But
this is outside of you're tired from a busy season. This is, you are so done. You are so over it. You don't want to look at a camera anymore. You do not want to answer the email from the Brad that just inquired. You are fried. That's what that is. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about like what to do when that happens, or do you want to talk about like?
Let's talk about our burnout year.
Okay.
And then
So 2021 was our burnout year. I remember we were so tired at the end of that year. And we went through the whole year and we shot way too much and we were just gone and shooting and gone and shooting and gone and shooting and editing and editing and editing. And I remember it was probably like early November, late October, you were like, I don't want to do this anymore. We were so done. We had booked a bride and they had booked like 18 months out and we were like, they will be our last wedding. We'll book anything before that, but we're done after that. Yeah. I know someone right now that's listening to this, one of our brides is like going back and they're like, okay, 2021, October, 18 months. Can I figure out who this was?
No.
She might find herself. She's pretty intelligent. She'll be like, oh, I bet that was me.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, like that was our burnout season. And I think a lot of times burnout is you're doing more than what you think you're getting paid to do. Yeah. Like, would we have felt that way if we had made $1 million that year? Probably not. Right? I'd be like, I could do another one of these years.
Burn me out.
Burn that candle at both ends.
Oh my gosh.
But still, like, yeah. I mean, that's what happened was we were working more than what we probably were feeling like we what we were worth is what it comes down to. I recommend to keep that from happening, raise your price. So a lot of times we get asked, like when we raise our price the Monday to Wednesday before Thanksgiving every single year.
And that is because the demand of inquiries and bookings are crazy, a lot higher.
They're about to hit.
Because
you have engagement season.
Yeah.
If this is your first season as a wedding photographer, you have engagement season is what we call it, from Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving week, kind of, all the way to the beginning of the year, because there's going to be some guy that proposes at Thanksgiving dinner, or they're going to go on a trip between Thanksgiving and Christmas, or he's going to propose on Christmas Eve, or she's going to open a ring box on Christmas Day, or right before the ball drops, he asks her to marry him, right? Like those are like big times for those.
Which is incredible, and we love all of those.
Yeah, but it's just engagement season. We know that that's a time that it's going to happen, so we raise our price right before that because we know demand is going to go up.
Don't raise your prices like right in the middle of like March or like right in the middle of January when everybody's spent everything and they're like, you know what I mean? Like that's why we do it.
Yep, 100%. So anyway, like with that, having a time that like go through and figure out how much you feel like you're worth. Has your skill went up? Because if you've learned a lot, if you have a lot of better techniques than what you did a year ago, if your pictures don't look like they did a year ago, and they shouldn't, your pictures should look better. Like if you've been shooting for 5 years, your year 1 stuff shouldn't be as good as your year 5 stuff. Like if your year 5 stuff looks as good as year 1, then you probably didn't get any better.
I don't think anybody's stuff looks like that. If you upgraded your gear, like if you went, up in gear, that's something.
If you travel more, or if you do more for your clients, like if there's more in-depth process, like you have like a consult to like talk about whatever, if you're like a branding photographer and you're like styling everything for them, or
if you opened up a studio space, if you had a baby, like there's so much that goes into that. And the thing is no one knows what your life looks like on the backside of what you need to make. You have to be the one to make
that's why everybody's pricing is different.
It is. And so that's why you can't be like, oh, well, I'm just going to charge what they're charging because I want to be competitive. It's just like, that's not how it works, because what your expenses are and what their expenses are, $300 for them might be $300, in a very low for what you need. Or, or demographic, like area, like one of our photographers, she's in Florida. Her cost of a session is much higher than what some of our associates in North Carolina's are, just because of the, a 42%?
Yeah, something increase? Like that. I mean, if you lived in Los Angeles, comparing Los Angeles to, Oklahoma, that cost of living is so much different that obviously you should be priced a lot different.
Right. New York, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But anyways, don't be afraid to raise your prices because of what you're worth.
Yeah,
especially if you're hitting burnout.
But I think that kind of will keep burnout at bay, because
it will, because if you're doing it for the money, if you're like, oh, I'm getting paid this much more than what I was, it makes it a little easier.
But what raising your prices also does is whenever you raise your prices, the demand diminishes just a little bit, and you still make the same amount of money by working a little bit less, so you can enjoy what you're doing a little bit more. And maybe you have to raise your prices significantly and you're finding a whole new demographic, but you're working a third of the time, and that's what your capacity is.
We went through waves of that.
I mean, there's some people, their capacity is 4 or 5 weddings, 8 weddings a month. We literally interviewed a photographer. She's like, I want 200 weddings a year. And I'm like, my God, I do not want 200 a year. So if that's your capacity, then maybe your pricing can be a little bit different than someone's whose capacity is 10 weddings a year. And that can dictate your pricing a little bit and dictate how much you feel like you should get paid on each one. So, but I think pay is a part of that. I also think in shooting what you enjoy is a part of that, because if you hate shooting events, don't book events.
Oh my gosh!
Because if you just
say you don't want to do events,
if you keep getting hit with events and like you don't like being there, then you always dread going.
Exactly.
Or if you're like, oh my God, I don't like newborns. Like, don't show that you do newborns, because then people are going to book you for newborns, and you're going to be like,
Yeah, if you have newborns on your website and you do not want to shoot newborns, take that off. Same with weddings. If you don't want to shoot a wedding, then you want to be free every weekend, then take it off your website. So. So shooting what you want, I think, is huge, because if you just want to work with brands, just work with brands. If you just want to work with moms, just work with moms, because then you'll have that passion to do what you feel like your creative outlet is. And I would encourage people, if you really love something and you want to make that your specialty or your niche, you have permission to do that. And then people are going to see you as the expert in that field and in that niche. They're going to hire you because you specialize in this very well and people are trusting you to do that. So you're going to find those higher paying clients doing that alone.
Well, also what happens is everybody thinks whenever you make a ideal client that it is like a bubble people fit in. Yeah. It's not a bubble, it's a target. So whenever you have the target, whenever the arrows are coming in, maybe they don't hit the bullseye. Maybe they're not exactly your ideal client, but they hit just outside. So maybe you want to work with young families, but then you have, a wedding client come in, but wedding clients become young families. So maybe it's a little off of your target, right? Yeah. But it's still close to your target. Yeah. So just because it's an ideal client, don't mean it's the only client.
Right. You can still do other things.
Yeah.
But just get clear.
Cool. I mean, I think that, like for me, that would help a lot if I was feeling burnout. Also, there's no problem. There's no one you're in charge of yourself. You're in charge of your business. So you can go take a week. You can go take 2 weeks. Yeah. If you don't take a day to rest, your body will pick one for you.
Yep. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Did you come up with that?
I read that in a book.
The
I
Bible?
think that's no. Does your Bible say that?
It probably does. No, I don't.
I mean, if that was in the Bible, it'd be like, if you do not take
the Lord
a day.
does tell us to rest, so there's that.
Yeah, I mean, God took a day to rest. Why don't you?
Exactly.
But no, I think that's a John Maxwell book. I'm not positive.
John Maxwell's a good one.
All right, cool. So, I mean, I think that pretty much covers like
all of the ins and outs of imposter syndrome as well as burnout.
Yeah, mindset shift that kind of helped us too.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, if you have a different mindset shift that has helped you, share it in the comments because it'll probably help somebody else that's watching this. And if you would do us a favor, make sure like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure to follow us on whatever podcasting platform that you're listening to us on. It really helps bump that up in the algorithm for other creatives. And then if you want to share this podcast on Instagram and tag us in it, we would love to be able to hop in your DMs, and thank you for that. And it'll also help other creatives other creative entrepreneurs to find the podcast and become a part of the community. But should I end with a dad joke today?
No.
I am. Do you know what kind of doctor Dr. Pepper was?
No.
A physician. You know, it's funny. He's a physician.
I understand.
Like fizz
I'm
with
sorry,
Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
Anyway, thank y'all for being here.
Guys.
Later, guys.
That one's awful, and I knew what the answer was, and I didn't say it. I should have said it. It would have ruined your joke.